It's Dora Rodrigues here, and I've got my client Stephanie. And today I wanted to talk about bullying and being naive and what kind of the connection is. So, thank you for being with me.
Oh, of course, my pleasure. I'm excited to learn more and get kind of into this.
Yeah, so when I was thinking about the topic of bullying and being naive. And I've experienced both of those things, and I know that you have as well. And I've noticed that so many women are dealing with this right now, and they just won't say it. They're
Mhm.
kind of like trying to hide their weaknesses. And, you can't really blame them because our society and the way it's built on patriarchy is designed to be kind of oppressing women and making women feel less than. So I think it's a very common issue.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Exactly. Yeah, and you can deal with this with all sorts of parts of your life, relationships, business, things like that. So, yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your past with bullying and how
Of
that's kind of
course.
shaped who you are today?
Yes, of course. I mean, I was bullied when I was a kid, pretty much up until high school. So I've got years and years of trauma. And it's like literally affected me throughout my entire life. It's affected me in every walk of life too, like relationships, friendships, and even business. And I still get bullying today in a way in terms of working with clients and customers. And that still kind of triggers me. And it's been something I've been working on with you for a while. I mean, I know we've been working together for maybe about 6 years right now, and it just keeps coming up. And I like to think I've pretty much worked all the bugs out, but they still kind of come out every now and then. So yeah, it's tough, and you got to put boundaries. That's what I'm learning from you.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you said that, even as adult women, we still deal with this. So people tend to associate bullying with the school years, and yes, that's true. And I'll
Mhm.
I'll even mention it for me too. I was bullied up until my last year of high school. And I can think of a few different scenarios that even in college and in my working years, especially with the first job I ever had in like graphic design, I remember being bullied there as well. So this stuff doesn't just happen in school, it happens in everyday life and it happens with adults just as much as it does with children. It's just not spoken about.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad we're bringing some light to it because if anyone else is dealing with this, this is a good discussion to have.
It's really important for, I think, women to know that they're not alone and that they're not the only ones experiencing it.
Yeah.
So, can you take us back to a moment where a client interaction crossed the line from being just difficult into emotionally heavy or disrespectful? And do you want to share what happened?
Oh, a lot of times. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's a particular time that really hurt. It really just kind of, I felt like someone just, stabbed me in the heart in a way. It was bad. I had worked with a customer. She was nice, but she had said, we have very powerful clients, and these people are not going to be happy. So just she basically threatened me. She said they're very powerful people and we need to get this to work. And when I hear they're very powerful people, I kind of feel like a small little I go into like a ball and I just feel like a little person and I'm like just I'm all the way down here, they're all the way up here. And I just feel small and I feel like kind of hopeless in a way. And that I don't like that feeling. And I've thankfully with the work that now I've done with you, I don't feel that way anymore. But if someone were to say something like that to me again, I would push back and I'd say something like, are you threatening me? Because if you are, this conversation is over. And that's me claiming my power back. I gave my power away to them I went into this little ball, but not anymore. So things like that you have to realize what's going on, how it feels in the moment, and then how to kind of rework it in the future. So,
Yeah, so I think that the key thing is that you became self-aware and that you started to pay attention to your body, which you weren't before.
yeah, and in a way, I feel like, your nervous system kind of goes into overdrive. And it's just a nonstop feeling of just like awfulness. You just feel like crap and you're like, how can this person talk to me like this? So
I
it's
don't think that people realize just how much these interactions and these relationships and these toxic relationships can actually impact your physical health and your nervous system is going to impact every single part of your body. I don't think that people are aware of that.
yeah, and for anyone who's listening too, I mean, if you're dealing with something and you have to, say if you're dealing with something on the opposite end of the spectrum, you're the customer, please try to like be a little respectful to the person you're talking to. They're doing the best they can. Like me, I was doing the best I could in the situation. Um, but, I've had so many customers just talk down on me. Little do they know I'm the owner, but they've talked down on me and it just makes you feel so small. But it's just working through it, trying to take a step back and not overreact so much. I almost try to remember that they're going through something and I'm trying to figure it out for them, but I don't think it's always directed towards me. I try not to take it so personal. But even though you kind of end up taking it personal anyway, it's really hard. It's a really hard thing to work through mentally.
Yes, and you actually brought up something really interesting in what you said. So,
Hmm.
uh, people can only treat you the way that you're ready to be treated. And
Mm.
the fact that they don't recognize that you're the boss, that says something about the way you speak, about the way you carry yourself in the conversation.
Oh.
So that once you really, once, with through the work that we do, once you can get yourself to a place where you're really embodying like your inner boss, like your, I don't want to say boss bitch, but
Wow. Okay.
your inner authority, like your female authority, they're going to start to take you more seriously and are not going
Mm.
to give you as much pushback as they would if they hadn't known, right? So that is one thing I wanted to mention.
Wow.
And also the fact that clients, yes, they're on their own journey. They're going through different things, and think of it this way. This is like 15 minutes in their day where they're not in charge and they're
Mm.
just trying to have some sort of certainty in their lives, some sort of resolution. And sometimes like you're just a checkbox on their list. Like they've got a to-do list and you're like at that checkbox of I'm going to call, so and so and I'm going to get this done. And that's going to make me feel better about myself. So it's almost like some of them, it could be even like a power trip of like, hey, I got this, like
Mm.
um I inserted myself or asserted myself and I
Oh.
got this out of it. So it's like almost like a badge of honor in some situations, and others it's like a checklist, like they're just trying to get through their day. So there could be so many different situations, and the more sensitive that you are to the energy behind the words, the more you're going to be able to interpret what's going on and respond accordingly.
Mm. Okay. So is it also like sort of confidence that comes into play? Is it like having confidence to be, you know, like you said you were talking about earlier, you are the boss. Is it just I need to work on more confidence in myself to convey more that I have more of authority? You know what I'm saying?
It's not. like having more confidence because you already have the confidence in you. You're already extremely skilled and extremely knowledgeable in what you do. I think it's about remembering your confidence
Oh, okay, okay.
because you do have it. It's there. It's like just needs to be remembered, and
Mm.
you have to find a way to remember that confidence in the moment and remember uh your your boundaries as well.
Hmm.
And also picking up intuitively is that you could actually have some sort of a message, a recording while the client is waiting, maybe on hold. I don't know how many clients you get a day, but having a message of, this is an environment of respect. We encourage mutual respect and understanding between, the customer and the customer service representative. Like no hate or discrimination will be tolerated, that kind of thing. Like having some sort of message and having that clear
Yeah.
on their website, next to the phone number or in a recording
Mm.
while they're calling to just remind the person. And like that, you're more in your power in the sense that you're going to be able to remind people of your policy and that they're not going to serve them if they don't act according to your boundaries. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Just even having like a note nearby just to remind you when you're on the phone with people, all these things. That's a good idea. I gotta do that. Hmm.
So glad I could
Yeah.
help.
Huh. See, there's things like these that she's always teaching me. Wow.
Well, that's what happens when you work with me and I get the chance to help you expand your own intuition and expand your own inner knowing because I'm not the only one here to give these insights. I mean, Steph, you also have your own beautiful wisdom that's ready to come out, and you do have a beautiful intuition. It's just a matter of paying attention to it. And, I help my clients pay attention to that.
Oh
So,
gosh, and my intuition was so bad in the beginning. I feel like it was. I feel like I really kind of tuned it up though, and it's really good right now. I'm really happy about it. But boy, in the beginning, I feel like I didn't have much, or maybe I couldn't feel it enough. Just,
mhm.
the messages weren't clear, but they're a lot more clear now. I'm
It's
pretty
hard.
happy.
It's very hard to tap into oh, I shouldn't say it's hard. That's kind of a belief thing, but it's not as obvious in the beginning once you're still getting to know what intuition is and how it feels like. It's not always obvious because it's these physical sensations that we've had all our lives. It's these
Mm.
hits and these insights that we've always had. And it's like, how do you distinguish? I'm trying to think of the expression, but how do you distinguish the wall from the furniture or something? There's like some sort of expression around that.
What? Okay.
There's an expression around it, but like how do you distinguish like what's all like how do you even pay attention to
Oh,
something that's always been there, right? It's
right.
not
Oh
easy.
gosh.
It's like you have to really train your brain around that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I understand exactly. Okay. Hmm.
So, what was a lesson that you learned from a client that you kind of learned the hard way?
Let's see. Well, there is one. So there was one afternoon where I was going to go out, see a movie with a friend of mine. Now, I don't usually do that during the week. That's pretty just not me. I usually work, work, work during the week, and then all my fun is on the weekend. But she was in town and was like, "All right, let's go see a movie." So I took care of all the work that I need to do, and I left the office. Um, I was watching the movie, and as soon as the movie's over, I turn my phone on and I see literally three missed calls from this girl, well, a customer I was working with. And she's freaking out because she can't get a hold of me. And I'm freaking out because she's freaking out. I was listening to the voicemails. And then I see a message from her, an email from her saying, if I don't hear back from you, I want a full refund. And I was like, whoa, first of all, I was only in a freaking in a movie for like a couple of hours. And I felt like my business was on a leash. Like I was on a leash with my business. And I don't want to feel that way, but I did. And I kind of gave into it for a second. And I was really upset about it. I ended my day with my friend early. I'm like, look, I have a work thing. I have to take care of this. And she's like, no problem. So I'm on my way back and I end up calling her, the customer. And she's like, well, I didn't hear from you. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And all this stuff. And she was going on and on. She was just ranting. And I said something to her like, look, this is not how you treat me. I stepped away for a couple of hours and I'm allowed to do that. I even told her I gave like permission. I'm allowed to do that. And I don't have to answer to you every 5 seconds. Like this is ridiculous. This is very unprofessional. And she did she was kind of taken back from that, but I feel like I got some of her respect back from that. That was really hard to do because I don't like to kind of I don't know how to say it, sort of talk back to a customer. I was doing it in a very professional way, but it felt really uncomfortable. But I did tell her all that, and she's like, okay. And so we ended the call and I ended up taking care of it. But boy, it just it felt really like I was on a leash. And I felt up until that point, I just felt like the business controlled me more than I controlled the business, if that makes sense. So what I ended up doing is I was like, you know what? I just should start doing away messages. So people know that I received their email because this whole thing arose because she felt like I didn't even see her email and I didn't respond right away. So I ended up doing this every time I go leave the office. I'll just put a away message up saying, hey, we received your email. We'll get back to it. And that just is a way of like, like kind of protecting my own peace type of thing. But man, when people act like that, it's really unnecessary, but you have to sort of push back in a way, you know? What are your thoughts?
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's about pushing back necessarily as it
Hmm.
is to you had to speak up about what your boundaries were, and
Yeah,
you were not clear to begin with what your hours were and what
that's
clients should
true.
expect from you. So the client wasn't sure what your business hours were, perhaps. Maybe they
Yeah,
weren't sure what the standard response turnaround would be, right? Maybe your response time is 24 hours for a message for to a client. Maybe you're not available by phone during, X hours, or maybe you are, and you have that clearly indicated somewhere on your website. And maybe if you don't answer it, and maybe you have somebody else answering for you during that time. So having all of that information somewhere where the
yeah.
client can access it will prevent a lot of this unnecessary, drama, I guess, if you wish.
Yeah, and I've learned too, it's almost like managing expectations as well.
Yes,
I really try to do that more so and almost over communicate than under communicate. That's something I've also learned as well. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot to learn with that. And there's a lot to learn with all these events, situations.
absolutely. And you don't have to feel guilty because it's just a communication issue. It's nothing more because you are extremely polite and professional. And you
Hmm.
had like you actually care enough that I know for a fact that you have taken courses on being a proper customer service representative, I guess, if you wish.
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of stuff involved. Oh my God, working with people, but I've just learned, more communication, the better overall. It's pretty good rule to have. Communicate as much as possible and you have a lot less problems.
Absolutely. And if you think about, for instance, I don't want to start cornering generations, but they're okay, let's just put it that way. A lot of young people are overstimulated nowadays. They have a lot to deal
Yeah.
with. They're under a lot of pressure, they have a lot of stress, and they have a lot of mental health issues, right? It's the
Hmm.
first generation that they've never lived without a cell phone, right? We did back in the day.
Yep.
But a lot of these young people who work in stores, for instance, and who work in grocery stores or just like boutiques or whatnot,
Hmm.
they're in zombie mode. I mean,
Hmm.
half of them won't even say hello, or
Oh
they won't know where
gosh.
things are, or
Yeah.
they'll feel like they're maybe being like there's like this sense of overwhelm emanating from them, and it's not. I don't want to start. It's not their fault. They're not. I'm not blaming. However, I do feel like there is a dysregulation of their nervous system, and it's almost like a lot of them are even maybe on mental health medication. Uh,
Hmm.
so there is a lot of pressure uh, in general, I think, in the customer service realm. There's a lot of expectation. Everything is so instant nowadays. If you think about places like Temu or Shein or Amazon, like you get things overnight. You can get furniture overnight on Amazon. Why buy from uh, other companies, right? When there's like, the big shots out there. So you really have to stand out and like do like an incredible job to really stand out. So we're all under a lot of pressure, basically. It's a time of immense overwhelm in the collective, but it's also a time of immense growth.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially a lot of customers want things right away. Although what's kind of funny is I respond to customers right away, and they're all some of them are still kind of like, "Wow, you respond so quick." So I think it's but a lot of them they're older. I notice older people are shocked when we respond so quick, but younger people are like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." So that kind of feels like it fits. If someone else is currently, tolerating disrespect in their job or their business, what truth would you want uh, them to hear that no one else is telling them?
Well, this is a hard pill to swallow, so just
I
take a
know
deep
it's a
breath,
loaded
guys.
question, huh?
It's, the song Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. Well, hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. It, I'd say a nice percentage of that is in the energy fields
Hmm.
and in your beliefs around the situation and your indoctrinations from the collective. So,
So the collective is, can you tell me more, a little more about that?
so basically, as humans and like everybody, like every living thing on this planet, we're all kind of connected and we're all kind of part of this like organism, if you wish.
Okay.
We're all like interconnected, even if we don't really feel like we are. Sometimes when people are really different from us, or maybe they oppose our beliefs or something. But
Okay.
we're all kind of connected into this like huge thing, this oneness, if you wish. And we tend to absorb and sponge from each other. We have very influenceable energy fields. We tend to like really absorb things, especially sensitive people. We absorb more than the average. And it's very easy to go and pick up beliefs, and especially growing up. I want to say that we can pick this up from the mother and father, right? You're taught to work hard. I'm sure your parents taught you to work hard and that you
Hmm.
had to work hard to achieve something. And so this is something that you were taught on some level. If you were 5, if you were 10, if you were 12, you were taught that you had to go through this and that you had to shut up and deal with it. So
Yeah.
this is your energy basically projecting what you believe to be true. And once you do the self-love work, like once you really you're like, hey, I don't deserve to be treated this way, your reality just starts to change and you won't attract these situations anymore. And I believe we did that together at a certain
Yeah.
point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about are things that did happen a little while ago, and things haven't happened, knock on wood, lately. So, and if they do, I know how to handle it. So thankful I've worked through that, I'm glad we worked through that.
I'm
I
so
feel more
happy to hear
confident
that.
going forward. So,
Awesome.
huh.
Awesome.
Okay. So yeah, okay, collective, that makes sense. And when you say collective, I even get negative energy from collective in general, like with what's going on in the world right now. That really affects me, and I feel like that can affect a lot of people. I think we pick up energy from the world. Is that true? Is that what you're talking about there as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, how do I put this? This ties into bullying. This is bullying on a major scale. So
Really? Oh
when you think
gosh.
about stories that are told, uh, and I'm not just talking about the news, I'm talking about all stories. I'm talking about TV shows, I'm talking about
Hmm.
movies. When we see these stories, we're being influenced on some way, subconsciously, on a subconscious level. We're being influenced. So even just absorbing this information,
Mm.
it creates our reality because what we see creates our reality. And if you can just decide when you look at something that you're not taking it on, it will make or break it. Like it will help a lot. If you can just look at something and, okay, and this isn't to bypass what is going on, like all the suffering and all the pain, because there is a lot of stuff happening on a collective. A lot of people are going through a lot, and that's real and that's valid.
Mm.
However, what's going to help them more if we freak out with them or if we hold space and we stay in peace? And therefore, that peace gets emanated into reality, and therefore they get better or their situation improves. Because
Oh,
if
cool.
we freak out with them and if we act angry, well, okay, anger is valid, completely valid, but if we act, if we're in a place of fear and panic, we're only adding to the problem. But if
Yeah.
we are able to stay in peace and to project peace, then as a byproduct, and that's not to say that you're not also taking action, because you should absolutely take action and, like, call your politicians and all of that, like, whatever you feel led to do. But if you're constantly in fear, you're feeding the fear, you're feeding into that, you're making it bigger, you're like making it swell.
Yeah.
So staying in a place of peace and surrounding yourself as best you can without bypassing the situations, right? Like putting on
Yeah.
your oxygen mask, that'll help the situation a lot more. So yes, we're connected and things are happening, but we have the opportunity as being in like privileged places to be able to keep our peace so that the world doesn't go further into flames.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. Especially it's almost like, being around like certain friends and stuff like that. There are some friends that kind of are negative Debbie Downers, and you have to you have to put yourself either out of that situation or really try to be the happy person so that they can be a little happier too. It's kind of like that, but it is hard. It is hard. Um, don't know if I.
True. That's something that you really have to decide for yourself, and you'll know because something I'll just give you a quick tip. When you find that a friendship is falling out, you're gonna notice some little uh, dysregulations, I guess, within the, like, especially with scheduling. I'll find that when I'm falling out with someone, our schedules will not line up. Like
Huh.
they'll want to do something on next day and I won't be able to, or I'll want to do something on next day and they won't be able to. And it's going to be like almost missing each other. Like it's almost like being in two different radio frequencies and not being able to catch one another. That's a sign that
Wow.
you're out of vibration.
Oh, how do you get back into vibration?
Well, you can't really force it. You like sometimes you really do have to make an effort and you
Okay.
have to care, right? You have to, like, if you truly care about your friend, you're going to make an effort, but otherwise you kind of have to decide if you want to let it go or not.
Oh,
So,
I see. I see. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So I just have a couple questions for you, and this will probably help a lot of the listeners right now, just in general, because I know a little bit of these questions, but it also helps me as well. So this is an empowerment call. It's about empowerment. We've talked about bullying, clients. boundaries, things like that. But overall, in general, can you help me and everyone else understand what is empowerment? Does it cover other topics? What are things that you do for your clients or, anyone listening to this?
Okay, well, empowerment is something that is definitely multi-layered. And when I talk about empowerment, I'm talking about the ways that you're blind to your own self, you're blind to your own value,
Hmm.
uh, in the ways that you're currently giving your power away without knowing it. So what I do in my session with my client is I remove any energies that don't belong to them, any beliefs don't belong to them, any
Mm.
imprints that don't belong to them, because I'm working with soul pattern and I work with different patterns within our soul pattern. That's a story for another day. But
Okay.
I'm
All right.
able to help you return to yourself. I'm able to help you stand in your sovereignty, stand in your own truth, and be comfortable with your truth.
Oh,
And
okay.
obviously, it's a balance. Like, I don't want people to all of a sudden get like egoistic or to, how do I put this? I don't want people to stop being kind and stop validating or stop
Mm.
understanding other people because it is like you do have to stay like understanding and kind and to keep learning, right? To keep being humble. Like that's not the point of empowerment, right? Like you have to have your truth, but also be kind enough to understand other people's truths at the same time. So it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle in a way, but it's about me calling. I do a lot of calling out on you playing it small. I think I did it quite a lot. And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm clocking your patterns. I'm looking at your patterns and I'm helping you access your own inner authority, right? Helping you access your intuition and that accessing your intuition is a huge part of empowerment. Like it's a major staple of it. So it's a lot of getting to know your own intuitive gifts, your own psychic gifts, your own superpowers, and leveraging them in everyday life, and also being aware of all the ways that you're possibly leaking your energy to other people.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed that I became better at manifesting by the calls we've had with empowerment. Knowing my truth, having boundaries, but all that really helps me being a little bit more confident in managing my business. And that also just helps me manifest more type of thing. So I feel like if you can get a good grip on who you are as a person and what you expect, I think you can help yourself get really what you want easier, obtain things easier. Would
Yeah,
you?
so here's the thing. We manifest from the day we're born,
Right.
but we start to manifest good things once we do that work. Like once you start to understand that your empowerment is affecting what you're calling into your life, that's when it gets interesting.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So, for everyone listening, can you tell me a little bit about your empowerment calls? Like, what can people expect when they have a call or session with you?
Okay, well, first thing that I'm going to be doing is help, understanding what your goals are, understanding what your intentions are for the call, because that's really important. Because if we're just floating around and uh, getting lost in like airy fairy stuff, that's not going to help anyone. So
Okay.
always really setting your intention of, well, what do you want to look at, right? The second thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lead you up into a little meditation, a little bit of like a theta brainwave state. And this theta brainwave state, it allows you to bypass your conscious mind and go into your subconscious and really clear things on a deeper level. And it also allows for a little bit more relaxation. so that things can just flow more easily. And that's as good for the client as it is for me, even though I can work pretty much in any state at this point. But
Very
so we
cool.
do that, and then I start to look at the soul pattern level. I start to look at the patterns. I'll look at the empowerment pattern. I'll look at your business pattern, which I do all the time. I think every single session, I'll look at your business pattern, look at what's happening, what's going, what's not going, look at your money pattern. I will look at your relationship patterns and such like that. And then I'm going to just go and like pull any beliefs I need to pull. I'm going to go and download statements for you so that you know what it feels like to be a certain way. I'm going to go and potentially remove any traumas that you're carrying right now or that are coming up or that are arising, right? Because I can
Cool.
just be pulling things from like 1996 when you were still in grade school. That could come up suddenly in a session, right? Even if it's 2026 right now. So we never know what's going to come up. And it gets really fun because sometimes I can bring in some beautiful energies into the call. So I work with the energy of goddess. I work with, for instance, goddesses like Goddess Sophia or the Egyptian goddess Isis. I will talk a lot about um, different elemental energies, such as angelic, such as mermaid, such as fairy or dragon. Those are all beautiful, positive, uh, elemental energies that are here to help us and assist us. And they're always in our energy fields, especially those of us who have a lot of creative energy. So
Hmm.
I'll do that. And I can easily do that in one session, but honestly, I think that the magic is in that continuation, in that consistency.
Yeah.
So you and I, we work pretty much month to month, but I
Hmm.
also have um, 8-week programs where I work with women maybe like twice a month. And technically it would be like a 4-part call situation, like a kind of like a one-to-one program. And this is my signature program, Divine Goddess Power. And Divine Goddess Power is designed to strip away what you don't need anymore, awaken the living crap out of you, and awaken, what you're meant to be doing here on Earth, reclaim that, and then start to
Okay.
embody it. So it's a kind of like a 4-part program, right? And so kind of those are like the two ways that I'll go and work with empowerment.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a lot. And that's a lot. You get a lot with all of that. Um, I mean, I've done, of course, I've had several sessions with you, and I always make notes and just, and then after it, I'm like, wow, it's just, it clicks. It's amazing how fast a lot of this stuff works too. It just it clicks, and then you keep moving forward. I know things come up every now and then, but it's amazing how all of this stuff works. It really does. I'm living proof. I'm very successful. I don't like to give away my business name or anything like that, but I do run a multi-million dollar company. I'll tell you all that. And I have I owe a lot of that to what Dora works on with me. So she works with successful clients, and I would love to have her work with you because she's really done a heck of a number on me over the years, and I owe a lot of her success, my success to her. So, so just a couple more questions I think I might have is,
And I mentioned something real quick, actually.
sure.
Well, one thing, the reason why Stephanie is so successful, I want to mention something. As much as I'm very grateful that you said that, but one reason that Stephanie is so successful is because she allows the energy. She's so open and so like porous that she absorbs everything that we talk about and she implements it. And that is the missing key with a lot of people who are going around the self-development industry, that they're not implementing and they're not doing the work. And Steph does the work. And that is the difference between Stephanie being super successful and somebody not getting results. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. I remember you always telling me you gotta do the work. And that does, yeah, that's so true. Um, so let's see. I was wanted to know for anyone just to take away something as well from this call, even if they end up for some reason not calling you, even though I don't think they should, but just something for them to take away from this. What is something that you could say is like, what's a daily mindset practice that you can kind of get, you wake up from the day, what's something people can just start doing to make sure that they have a really good day? Ahead? Any particular things that they should start thinking about or anything like that?
So a lot of people, a lot of healers and coaches and such like that will have like their very specific routine of like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym, and I don't know, like having this super protein rich breakfast. Like that's always what I imagine, like sitting with their crystals and meditating with their guides for like, oh, I don't know, like an hour a day before they start their day. And
Mhm.
I'm not like that. I don't have anything against it. And I think that if you're that type of person, then you should absolutely do it. But I think that the single most important thing that you could do is have a positive mindset. And I'm not saying force positive, I'm saying like naturally positive about the day and what you have lined up for your day.
Mhm.
So I'm talking about just really. Um, Not having any attachments to the way the day is about to go and to have
Mm.
an open mind and to be in a detached, peaceful, like getting yourself to whatever peace looks like for you, whatever, and also asking yourself, like, is this the ideal day for me? Is this a day of where I am going to be nourished, supported? Is this day going to support me, my goals, my desires? Like, is it fully aligned, basically? So those are the two things I think that I would recommend looking into.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And one thing I personally listen to is your degunk. This girl, she has little recordings she does, and it's like you listen to it, and it gets rid of the energy and gets new energy for the day. It's always a good thing to do if you want to meditate or anything like that. But yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome. You're welcome. And I can absolutely run that. Would you like it? Would you like it if I ran that right now?
oh, well, sure. That would be amazing. Thank you. This is cool. A freebie from Dora. Awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to just invite you and everybody else to just, I'm not going to do the full meditation, but just bring yourself into your heart space. Just really anchor yourself. You can close your eyes or not, whatever feels good to you. Just take a deep breath. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and just recite a little something. So, Creator, it is commanded to run a full and complete degunk of everybody's soul patterns who accept this energy now. So you can just say, I accept if you want to accept this energy. Thank you, Creator, seal it. Okay, so the energy is running. And if I were during the call, I would be burping my little heart out. So I do try to mute myself, but there's a lot of burping going on, a lot of yawning. My clients tend to yawn a lot when I'm doing energy work. So whatever you feel in your body is completely normal. I'm just going to just allow the energy to just run. And then also a little bit of swing. So that's just my body transmuting any energies that are ready to be dissolved. And what I always do after I run something is I just check in. I ask, like, how are you feeling? What's coming up for you in your body?
And I tend to yawn, which is pretty normal. Like she said, that's why I know the energy is kind of getting out and.
Hmm. So you guys should be feeling a little bit more peaceful, maybe a little bit more grounded. And honestly, this energy will be able to help you with anything. And I do mean anything. I've had clients manifest money after listening to this. I've had clients suddenly have people reach out to them after listening to this just because we're clearing all the energetic debris that is holding you back and it's dimming your light. So once you remove that, well, you're super shiny. So you're able to attract a whole lot more things.
And I've also listened to this after I've traveled, because when you travel, you do pick up energy from where you were at. It really works.
Yeah, it is very, very good for that as well. Any situation really. Anywhere where you've just been out, even like you've been somewhere new or you've been to somebody's house or just anything really. So how are you feeling now?
Well, I've yawned, so I've got rid of something. And I
Good.
did just hear it last night too. So it really helps. It really does help I try to listen to as much as possible, you know, because yeah.
Yes, it's a good one to have like maybe once a day and twice a day. And I do have it for free in my on my website, so I will link that below in a description.
I'm telling you, you got to work with this girl. I really don't want to be pushy, but oh, she's helped me so much. So
Thank you so much.
she can help you too, I promise.
So just before we wrap things up, I do want to talk a little bit about the label naive
Mm, yeah.
because it does relate to bullying and to empowerment at the same time. I
Oh
find it
gosh,
kind of
yeah.
marries into these. And I know quite a few of my clients, and I've actually asked this question to my private clients, and a lot of them have been called naive. And I know that I've had that word said to me, and I know you have as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of women are called that word. And although the word itself isn't necessarily negative, it's always kind of
Hmm.
not necessarily said with the highest of intentions all the time.
Yeah.
It could in some instances, but on the most part, I'd say that it's always meant in a negative form. Uh, but how do you personally view that word? How do you feel about that?
Sometimes it's endearing, but sometimes you're right. It's meant for the other person to look down on you.
Yeah,
Because
so it is.
naive is a negative connotation mostly. What about you?
Yeah, so it is like a kind of a microbullying, I like to call it.
Yes.
It's like just a subtle way, right? It's very subtle and you don't always notice it.
A little jab. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, but the beautiful thing about being so-called naive or being perceived as naive is that you have the chance to impact the planet in a way that most people don't because you have the advantage of being able to see the best in people, in
Mm.
situations, uh, just in all parts of life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, of course, that can make you a hopeless romantic, or it can make you like, sometimes like, okay, it's time to let this go now. But it could be a valuable gift and it could be an asset. As a person, it could bring upon ideas and revelations that could potentially change humanity for the best. So when it's leveraged the right way, in an empowered way, it could be used for a lot of good. So, ladies, hang on to your naivety because it's not always a bad thing.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. I really like that. Yeah. Hmm. But when you are told that you're naive by someone, what would be the best response? What do you think you would say if someone said that to you?
I think that it would depend on what the intention was of the word.
Mm.
Uh, and sometimes I would maybe have to sit with that and just kind of see like how it felt to me in my body and what, and maybe even clarify like, what do you mean, right?
Mhm.
Um, so it would really depend on that. And like maybe I would want to kind of step away and kind of sit with that, what it means to me. Um, or I could say, well, that gives me an advantage, I guess, in this case. It depends, honestly. It really depends
Yeah.
on the situation.
But I love the way you think. You turn sometimes bad situations into good things. Like it's a very different perspective. I've had a lot of different perspective changes. The way you think, it's cool. It's cool. You turn something sort of a negative word into a good word.
Yeah,
So,
and it's just the way I am. I have like I feel like we can always, and that's kind of like a, it's like the game. It's like a game, really. It really is a game. This is the game that we're in. Uh we're here to turn shadows into light sometimes. So it's a muscle that you have to practice every single day, and it's not always easy. I'm not saying it's easy. Like there are times where me being called naive, I really felt horrible about myself. But now, once I sat with it, I've realized that hey, it's not always a bad thing. And even though society may project it or may use it and leverage that word as a bad word, but I think that there's a potential there. I think there's a potential there for the collective, for society to learn to see that word as a positive.
very cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me, Steph.
Yeah, sure. This was fun. This was fun. Even though I've been with you for 6 years, I still learn constantly new things about, just thinking really and just, you know, all this stuff. I mean, this is just about empowerment. You've taught me a lot about manifesting as well. Um, so if anybody wants to hear us talk about that, let me know. Let Dora know because I'd love to talk about that. That's a fascinating subject. Um, and you've taught me a lot about that. So
Absolutely. I would love to. And if you guys enjoyed this little talk, then please leave us a comment below. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Share it with someone who might need to hear it, and let us know if you have any questions for us or any topics that you'd like us to talk about next. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
awesome. This was fun. Thank you.